Welcome to my garden tour for the middle of June. It rained earlier today, so I can't really work in the garden. I just did some emergency tying up of these crazy tomatoes and some sunflowers. So I'm going to show you what the garden looks like as a way of enjoying my evening out here. I'm in Georgia, Zone 7B, and we have had a pretty dry spring. I'm about to put irrigation in, hopefully this next week, but thankfully I haven't had to water too much just yet. I have 6 raised beds, a container garden, and a shade garden as well. I'm going to try to show you all of these or part of these in this video, and if I have to break it into 2 videos, that's totally fine. So this is an overview of my front raised beds. Forgive the cars in the background. I have a bunch of peppers up here. I haven't picked any of them yet, but they're starting to look close. Sweet banana peppers up front, Lesia peppers right here. Same thing right behind it. I do believe this is a Serrano right here. And then I have my sweet cherry tomatoes as well as cucumbers. So my Boston cucumbers are really supposed to be the main plant on this side, but they are growing all the way across this trellis. So this is the 2 4x8 raised beds that I have. On this first bed, I have Boston pickling cucumber and some cherry tomatoes. I just picked a bunch of the cucumbers off, but you can see we have a lot of fruit setting down here. A little fruit there. And then neighboring to that, I have these 3 tomato plants. I have a Super Sweet 100 and 2 Sun Golds. So these cherry tomatoes are so happy. I've never in my life grown tomatoes with this kind of fruit situation. It is incredible. Get that to focus. Look at that. And I have clusters like that all over this thing. And cucumbers growing. Look at that cluster. These are my Sun Golds, and I grew them last year, but they were not this successful. More clusters. We are really getting in the swing of things. So coming around my giant cherry tomatoes, I have a few more peppers and some basil on this side. We have some tomatoes that are getting ready to pick, like this beautiful little cluster. I saw some basil that I really picked back. We have some more peppers back here. These guys, let's see where their tag are. This is my California Wonder bell pepper. This is another California Wonder bell pepper. They're very prolific for me. I have my jalapenos. And then this one back here, Corno di Toro back here. None of my Corno di Toros are blooming yet. And then here in front, I have some Provider bush beans. It was a struggle getting these to germinate. I've been picking off of them here soon. There are already more that I need to pick. Wow, that's a big one. I got away from me, but it's fun to have bush beans in season. Pretty healthy, no pests yet. And then there's this crazy banana pepper. Like, oh my goodness. I am so excited. I'm gonna let them get a little bigger because I enjoyed them much more when they had thicker walls. And this is a California Wonder Bell that's doing remarkably better. I don't know why. It is just loaded though with peppers. Here is my second 4x8 raised bed. I have my heavy hitter okra, and they just started setting fruit like this week. I haven't picked anything, but I need to go pick one of them in the back. Below that, I have some watermelon. The wind really blew them around. These are my sugar baby bush watermelon, and you can see a little baby watermelon. I have 2 sugar baby bush watermelons over here. And then here, this giant specimen is a Lemon Queen sunflower. And then next to it, I have 2 mammoth sunflowers. Down here, I have some rat's-tailed radish, which I have not been picking like I should, and they grow really fast. Like, these are beyond what they should be to eat. I have to say, something about them, when I picked them, I was just off-put because I've actually had pet mice, and it is a lot like a mouse tail, or I imagine a rat tail, and I just got grossed out, I'm not gonna lie. But I definitely will try them because they're supposed to be like a radish flavor. I think you're supposed to pick them like at this size. It was a rough week. I did not come out here and pick these. Wow, that one, oh my goodness. And then next to that I have a Cosmo patch, although I'm not sure how much I like Cosmos because they fade out quickly. Like, these are my Cosmos. They're not what I expected, but they're beautiful. And they're very tall. And here in front, I pulled out my zinnias. They all got powdery mildew. But I left in my basil, which this basil is trying to bolt, and something is also chewing on it. And then my borage. The borage in the pot that I have kept dying from the heat. This borage here in the bed, it's a cluster of 3 plants, is much happier. So that is my tour of my 4x8 raised beds. I'm going to show you my container garden, which looks really sad from here, but these are purple potatoes, and they suddenly died back with this heat, so I guess that means it's time for me to harvest my potatoes soon, because they were beautiful earlier this spring. Now I have my Alma fig, which is loving its bigger pot. I have potted it up twice this spring, and it just thrives. I have some Provence lavender down here. My lemon balm and mint are going to flower, which is kind of sad. I didn't really expect my lemon balm to flower this year because it did not flower last year, but I grew it from seed last year, so this is its first chance, I guess. And then more potatoes here that need to be pulled ASAP. I have some bachelor buttons that I need to go ahead and pull out because they're looking really sad. And then I have a borage plant that is really stressed out because of all this wind and everything. It has had a rough go. I expected more of the flowers to be open already. It's like they open very slowly, a few at a time. Over here is another cluster of pots. In front I have a sugar baby watermelon, which should be a good container variety. It's a bush version. And that wind picked it up and flipped it over, so I flipped it back. I have some parsley. I have some Greek oregano in these 2 pots that I need to harvest because it looks amazing. This is that Greek oregano I've been talking about all spring. It smells really good. It smells more fragrant than my other oregano, which is just common. I have some more miniature midget cantaloupes and some scallop squash, some chocolate mint. The Stivers Homestead talked about chocolate mint so much, I was like, okay, I'll get one. It smells so good, but unfortunately it got zapped this week in the heat, and so the chocolate mint had kind of died off on me. I let it get too dry. That was some borage I just pulled. And then here next to it we've got some Spanish lavender and some sage that I grew from seed. And I don't use it much, but it sure smells good. I don't know why the leaves are kind of yellowing. I think it needs maybe more fertilizer, but I've been fertilizing it this spring. So this is a shot of my 4 raised beds I built in 2021. I have all this dirt behind it because we just did construction and built a patio, and we had a bunch of extra soil, and we just laid it in a low spot back there. So the grass will cover that up. But here in front of us we have a lot of peppers. So we have a purple beauty pepper, although it may have some sun scald on the bottom or rot, I'm not sure, but it's setting more fruit. Then we have Corno de Toro, just setting its first fruit. We have, I need to learn my peppers, Orange Bell, also has some damage to the bottom. We have Molly's Red Hot, and it's either that's damaged or it's starting to set some color to it, I'm not sure. And over here, I have a funny looking situation because I have a sweet banana pepper. That's actually a mature color. I need to pick that. I have some shishitos back here. Another hot pepper of some kind. This is my Big Jim. I didn't know it had set some peppers. It looks like the Mall's Red Hot a lot. And I have some marigolds here in the back. They're a small variety there. I'm going to put in more. And then here, we've got some cherry tomatoes. So here we've got some cherry tomatoes. This right here is the Isis candy. And then over there we have some Super Sweet 100. I wanted to give you a closer look at my Super Sweet 100. It is setting and ripening so many fruits on me. This is going to be great. So these are the green onions that I planted from my store purchase. Just like planted the ones you buy, and they grew really well. Buena mulata pepper. I've got some small little beets right here that I haven't pulled out yet. We'll see if they make anything. Got some mall red hot pepper. And then I'll walk you back here. Oh, got some grass growing in the bed. So over here, you see some silver slicer cucumbers on the back. Some super hot peppers. I think these are my root jalokia. Yeah, these are my ghost peppers. They are doing really well. I've never had ghost peppers flower in June. And then toward the back, I've got some pretty big peppers set on this plant. Those are ones from the Kroger grocery store. I planted some seeds from the ones that I bought just to eat fresh. So surprise, there are more peppers in this bed. I'm just pepper crazy. I have like habaneros right here, and I have like Jamaican Scotch bonnet, Trinidad scorpion, as well as some spicy globe basil. This is another Lesia pepper, some Corno de Toro. This is Lesia over here. So I'm really happy with my peppers. In the back, I put in some Cosmos. I don't love them. They do have a pretty color too, the bloom. They're the bright pink. And then I have my Isis candy cherry tomato. That's one tomato. It is doing pretty well. This is the last of my 4x6 beds. I have some sad looking dragon tongue bush beans. They are just starting to set beans, but they're very pale plants, and I have been fertilizing them throughout this spring summer phase, but they're producing at least. And then I have some more beans, dragon tongue bush beans, coming up as a second wave. I have some more silver slicer cucumbers there on the side. There's a little bit of basil tucked around here. And then up on my trellis, I have some cherry tomatoes. So I have Super Sweet 100s. And then this guy over here is a sun gold. And then behind them, I have some bachelor button flowers and a dill that is going to seed. This is an overview of my shade garden, and the most exciting action is happening, well, actually all around now. I've got good growth everywhere. So right up front, we have a sugar baby bush watermelon that is starting to set fruit. We have a Seminole pumpkin, which is not setting fruit yet, but is the longest one that I have. More watermelon sprinkled throughout, trying to get those to grow. We'll go on back to see what's on this trellis. So on our trellis today, and every day this summer, are some rattlesnake bush beans. They are not looking super hot this year. It was a struggle to get them to germinate, but they are blooming. And then coming in from the side, I've got a sugar pie pumpkin growing. He's been trying to climb this trellis. And then here behind them, I have a Seminole squash there, Seminole pumpkin, whatever you want to call it. And then I have some cantaloupes. They are not setting fruit just yet. I'm starting to see female flowers though. And then I have some sugar pie pumpkin right here, as well as some North Georgia candy roaster squash, which are getting nice and big, and I saw female fruit on it, but I don't think it got pollinated. Now, moving through here, we've got my green onion patch, some Cosmos, and a couple other things down that way. So next to my green onion patch, I have a little sunflower patch that is getting skeletonized. I don't know what is chewing on all my sunflowers. Whatever it is aggressive. This happened almost overnight. Good gracious. But there's a head on that one. These are some pumpkins that a friend of mine gave me. They're blooming. I don't know what they'll be. And then my snapdragons, they're fading out. I'm gonna pull them out soon. They go all the way around here. They were blooming pretty well before that rain. So we'll go check out the middle of my shade garden. So over here you see some foxglove, some sunflowers, and some marigolds. Next to my little flower patch, we have my cucamelon trellises. They are setting fruit quite well. There's a weird little bug that's on them I haven't identified yet. I don't see any right now. But I have some cute little cucamelon fruits. They are prolific and they're liking all this rain. So the trellises are combining. It's quite the display here. I don't remember anything chewing on the leaves last year. Probably those mystery bugs. They look like miniature fireflies. So I've tried to get a flower patch going here, but the pests have been pretty heavy. I've got a couple little zinnias here. And then I have some sunflowers, but something's chewing them. Speaking of which, there's a slug. And then more sunflowers. Sad little things. It's also been super hot this week. A more successful area is this little vibrant spot. My straw flowers are starting to set buds for me. These are my vintage white. And then I have some beautiful gomphrena right behind them. And I have never grown gomphrena, but they are so cute and they're very much like straw flowers. A little pokey noise when you hit them. And I've got different colors. Strawberry Fields over here, a little red, QIS formula blend from Johnny's, these like purplish ones. My herb patch is a little wild right now. I need to weed it. And this is my common oregano that I planted last year from seed. It's crazy. Some thyme, lemon and common, some parsley, green onion. I've successfully saved seed from green onion, so I can add that to my seed saving list. And then my nasturtiums were looking really good before the rain, but they have gotten beat up with that rain. So the nasturtiums are looking a little rough. This is that pretty orchid cream nasturtium one. None of the flowers are really intact right now. That was a heavy rain. Over here, a few more herbs, a few more weeds. This is a trailing nasturtium. And this is a rosemary that I rooted. I have a lemon thyme that I rooted. This is the mother rosemary. And then back here I have some more foxgloves and more parsley and more common oregano that is out of control. So that is the end of the shade garden. Here's the back view. Lots growing. Thank you so much for watching my garden tour. I have such a blast out here gardening, and it makes it even better to get to share it with you guys and get advice and ideas from you all as well. Garden tours are one of my favorite videos to watch, so if you have a favorite channel that does garden tours, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you stay tuned for future videos, and thank you so much.